I just want to say that because there's a lot of confusion in us, causing us or resulting in us connecting to what is actually negative, whereas otherwise we would disconnect ourselves from it. For example, in abusive relationships, if it's a woman or a man, if he or she begins to believe all that stuff that's being projected at him or her, then they'll continually seek that out. But even though they continually seek that out, that's still something that's not based in love, reality, or compassion for themselves. And because it's not based in that, it is actually part of ego that is dictating that behavior. So I don't want anybody to think that it's you have to go seek out dangerous situations or whatever and be like, I embrace you. It doesn't mean that. It means that we have to be intuitively aware of why it is that we act or behave in certain ways, and then when we connect to our intuitive awareness, we will be able to facilitate bringing everybody back to a state of unity in the best way.
And something, you know what, you were talking about, to be able to intuitively facilitate that reconciliation or that restoration, right? And I think that one of the things we gotta point out, man, is that is a very natural and organic part of ourselves. The only reason we don't perceive it is because we spend so much time building these worlds of thought and these images of ourselves that are projected and don't have anything to do with reality. All of these personality traits about ourselves that we agree to based on what people have said we are, and based on what we think is cool, or what we think can protect us, or what we think can allow us to belong. And those are the only things that we're seeking to let go of, because to each layer we let go of, the natural creativity of the Creator flourishes already. It's only about removing the thing that blocks the organic process of the spirit. It's not about, oh, I got to just study 1 billion years, or read Hebrew and Greek, or understand the tree of life intellectually. Anyone who's looking into those things is only using those tools. Anyone who reads the scriptures or anything, if they're doing it with the intent of revealing the Messiah or the deliverance energy, the liberating energy within, all they're doing is removing the layers that we've created that blocks that natural process. The process flows naturally. We can't change it. We can't alter it. It is what it is, and it flows naturally when we remove the perceptions that we have held onto and locked within ourselves and imprison that natural flowing energy. As soon as we release it, it comes online naturally like a computer that you cut on. It's always there.
And we introduce more blockages to that natural process when we react out of fear.
Yes.
Which is why that, in order for this time period of 2012 to be a time period of manifesting heaven in the earth, as opposed to the hell that's in us already, we have to deal with the fear that we feel. And this means that whatever we encounter in terms of our relationships with people, if they reveal aliens in the news one day, whatever it is that causes our beliefs about this world and who we are to shake or crumble, we have to embrace that fear and embrace that part of us that we are afraid of. And that's how we reveal reality to others and to ourselves. Because none of this time period is about the world ending. It is about the worlds that we think are real ending.
And it is about the beginning of us living in the world that we were always designed to inhabit. I always go back to the whole Adam and Eve. If Adam and Eve were the highest creature or the highest vessel that the Creator created, and they were created to house His very presence, and they fell out of that state, they existed in that state perfectly and were in perfect union with Him. If they fell out of that state into this world that we now call reality, and they were designed to return, then this whole 2012 is simply about us going back home by choice.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're going back home by choice, then the same thing that brought us out of that presence of unification with the Creator and the limitlessness or infinity is the same force that we have to encounter going back into it. Mm-hmm. And that force was nothing other than the desire to feel pleasure for ourselves that caused us to fall to this low vibration of the physical world where we feel trapped and limited by the desires of this body. Mm-hmm. So now we're going back to go and reface that force by conscious desire to re-enter into our original domain, which is one of unconditional love and expansiveness and limitless creation of life, limitless and perpetual creation of life. Then we have to individually and collectively begin to face that same force that kicked us out of the garden. Because the garden is just talking about the reality that we were in, that we fell from, that 2012 gives us an insight that we are re-entering, you know? And that's all it's about. It has nothing to do with destruction. Only the destruction of the low world that we have been imprisoned in, you know?
And when we face it and deal with it properly, it becomes an asset rather than something that's been antagonizing us for so long.
Yeah.
And then the more we embrace, the more we understand about who we are, the quicker this process of revealing the reality of what we are takes place.
Right. That's definite, man. So this thing is like very positive. So like if we understand this, then anytime there's fear present, regardless of how we perceive it with our five senses, it is literally an indicator that we are at a dimensional shift opportunity to move back into the Titan or the co-creator that we are, mm-hmm. into the gods that we are. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's like, I think that we have to position ourselves to really stand on that understanding and operate within those situations, understanding their purposes, man. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing I'm kind of thinking about is like, yo, you don't come into reunification with the Creator without catalyst events of what we perceive as negativity. You know what I mean? Only through the perception of death and destruction can we exit out of limitation and move back into the Creator. Mm-hmm. So everything that's happening now is a catalyst event to propel us back into a sense of oneness, a sense of love.
And it's like it's kind of like the very purpose for us being here is being given an opportunity, or we're being given an opportunity to like greatly accelerate the process of us coming to this realization that we and the Creator are one in this time period of 2012.
Yeah.
So it's like everything that we haven't dealt with over however many millennia it's been since the last time period like this will come to a head in this one, so that we can hurry up and play out our karma, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and let's keep the process going.
Yeah, man. It kind of reminds me like a barrel of apples, and people have been eating like the apples that have been at the top, but in this season, it's like at the bottom, it's all the rotten apples that nobody has ever touched, because you always had apples at the top, and it's like, yo, in order to just really clean the whole barrel out so they can be filled with something new, now we're having to reach deep in and deal with this, like the stench and the stink of all the onion, all the worm-ridden apples, and like we got to lean over in it and get rid of all of that, mm-hmm. and just like kind of like clean out, because that barrel is us, man. Mm-hmm. And we've had some rotten experience that are like at the bottom residue of who we are, but dealing with that residue is the green light. It's the green light of getting back home. Because all this is about getting back home now and changing reality. Because I can see that at the, to me, dude, I feel like all of this is about to be over. Over in the sense of how we perceive the world and what we think are the laws of it. Like you live, you die, that's it. Mm-hmm. But I see this as an opportunity for, and I see the shift as being, instead of us living from the outside in, that the shift is about us learning how to live from the inside out. Mm-hmm. so that instead of us reacting and having a nominal awareness of what truly is the source of life, we connect to the source of life and constantly bear the fruit of that life out into this reality as love and connection to each other, understanding that each person is just a manifestation of yourself floating around in congealed body, you know. So definite, man. I mean, it's a good opportunity.